as your blackberries ripen, it's so excited to see them turning colors. But don't get too excited too fast. If they still have a tug to them, if you have to pull them off of your vine, it's probably going to be bitter. Now you want to go through and check them, and if they come off barely like that, there's going to be more sweetness in that berry. So don't jump too fast and get too excited, because you want to check these berries and make sure they're actually ready. Now if you want to go ahead and pluck them off and use them after they change colors because you're worried about the beetles and the bugs, that's fine. You're just going to have to add more sugar. They're going to make great jams and jellies. They're still going to be excellent in a pie or a cobbler. But you're just going to have to supplement with more sugar. However, if you wait just a little bit longer and stay diligent, keep checking, you're going to have a much better, sweeter berry to just pop in your mouth for that summertime sweetness that you like in your berries. Now, sometimes you might be worried about seeing these white spots here. Those white spots, all that is sunspots. It's a little bit of sunburn on your berry. It doesn't mean disease. It's totally fine to eat, and it's not going to hurt you. Just like anything, you know, even the plants that you're supposed to plant in full sun, the sun still can be a little bit hard on them, and they like a form of shade. You'll notice that when the bushiness, for instance, I got an example for you right here. Whenever your berry is hidden under the bushes just a little bit for that shade, look at these berries. These were hidden behind these leaves, and you're going to get better berries to the ones that have a little bit of shade from the sun. And this is what you're looking for. You're looking for a really big berry that when you pull, it just comes right off. And that is a nice berry. Look at that. That's much bigger than my thumb, actually. It's very bulbous. It's very full. In this time, you want to be pumping your plant full of water. Don't let it strive and lack water at all, because that's what's going to make these beautiful, big, plump berries. I'll go ahead and take you on around so you can see the inside of the berry tunnel. And in here, they do have some shade. What I love about this tunnel is I can pick from the outside and the inside. If you do a tunnel like this, make sure that you can reach up and through. This top of it hits my hand about right here. I am about 5'5" in height, so because some of your foliage is going to be beyond a trellis, so you want to be able to reach through and reach. You don't want to have to get a standing stool or a ladder. So if you're a little shorter, you're going to span your berry trellis out a little bit further. All we did is we used some thick gauge cattle panel and hooped it, and then we put some pieces of rebar into the ground, and then we just attached the rebar and the panel, put the panel inside the rebar and hooped it over to create this trellis. So the berries will grow all over the top of the trellis. As you're picking, you're going to look for those vines, the new vines, like this one. Here's a new vine that I have fed through. Notice how this vine has no berries. And you might be tempted to think, this has no berries, what's the use? It's taking energy from my plant. I should get rid of it because I want the energy to go into my fruit. No. This is your producer of your fruit for next year. You want to keep this. So they're green right now, and they still have some flexibility. So as you're picking, you're going to turn this. Be careful because they still can break pretty easily. And yes, it happens. And you're just going to train that through your trellis. And keep on doing that throughout the growing season. And that is going to be your berry producer for next year. Now in the fall, we'll come through here and we're going to be able to see, for instance, we're going to be able to see these little twigs here. And these were what our berries came off of for this year. And then the vine that it's connected to will more than likely be brown and start to get really crisp and look dead. Those are the ones that we're going to prune off of the plant because there's no more life going to be in them. Because after we harvest this year, the growth of this plant is going to go into the new vines. The new vines are going to grow over the top. Like here I have one that has come all the way over the top. It has no berries, and it is coming all the way down to here. It'll grow all the way down to the ground. And what I'm going to do is I have these pots down here waiting for me for that very purpose. So I'm going to take a pot with dirt in it, and I'm going to find, I don't see one grown over yet right here. But for instance, last year, this one did grow over. I put a pot right underneath of it. And when my new vine grew down, I put it into the dirt. That new vine will take root into the dirt. Once it does, you'll give it a little tug, and if you can feel that it's really holding on for itself, that's when you're gonna cut it off. And then this is the product of that from last year. I created a new plant from the end of this vine, cut it off, and then took my brand new plant, and you'll have plants to give away, to sell, or even to expand your own blackberry garden. We know that beetles love to eat our berries. The best thing I found to help with that is this Japanese beetle trap. You can find these at your local farm store. What it is there's pheromones in here that attract them, and then they just come in and then they fall into this sack and collect here. It has rained, so they're all floating in water. You'll come out on a hot summer day and you'll be hearing them just tick, 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 tick falling into your sack. And they'll all be crawling around in there. You can feed these to your chickens, but if you don't change the sack, it is going to get really stinky. Some people will take these bugs and even put them into a different like Ziploc sack and put them in their freezer and save them for their chickens for snacks throughout the season. You want to take this and you want to put it, don't put it really close to your berries, because the pheromone will actually attract the beetles to your berries. You want to put it like 10 or 20 feet away from your berries, so the attractant is there. They're going to be pulled over to here and hopefully want to come to this and fall in the sack before they eat up and destroy your berries. I was really worried about this blackberry plant because it started yellowing all over. If you can see that it's a really light lime green and there's just kind of this overall yellowing going on. So I came and put some fast-acting garden lime at the base before the last rain. And I am really happy to see that now from the bottom on up to here, we're becoming this lush green again. So whatever I did worked. What garden lime does is it helps the plant absorb nutrients, and it also raises the soil's pH. So hopefully, if this is happening to your blackberry plant, if you don't have a bug infestation or a disease, then you have a nutrient deficiency. Give it some fast-acting garden lime and you hopefully will see the recovery.